Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 361 of the Saturn Studs Podcast. I'm Kurt, joined once again this week by my role-playing co-hosts Peter and Jake.
That's right, Kurt. In an actual topical move today, this is the WrestleMania is Dead edition of the cast. We just watched WrestleMania 39.
I just saw a company reach the pinnacle of its potential and then immediately crater back down to where it began from.
Yeah, it's like Frodo got all the way to Mount Doom, and then he succumbed to the ring.
Yeah, that's better than the analogy I had. It's like if after Gohan beat Cell, he just became a fetus again.
And there is no Bilbo or Samwise. Samwise. I know my Lord of the Rings.
Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil. Hey, no, if you're getting angry at me, Lord of the Rings fan, look over there. It's a debate about whether Balrogs have wings or not. They'll send them distracted for hours.
Can elves be black? And I want everybody to roll for intro. If you get a nat 1, you have to throw away your recording or make it choppy. If you get a nat 1, you got to wiggle around your microphone connection.
Do I have
for 5 seconds?
Do I have a D20 here? I can probably.
I was looking
do
around
a generator.
I don't have any with me.
I'll roll.
I was gonna say if you roll a 1, you have to have a gamer moment.
There's a roll a D20 website. Let's go. I rolled a 16.
D20. Let's find it.
This is
roll dice.
I'm sure great for the audio only audience.
All right, Google. Yeah, that's a 13. Yeah, so Google have their little roll a dice widget.
I got my D20.
All right, I rolled a 16. Peter rolled a 13.
Fuck, I rolled a 6. My proficiency is only 3. That's a 9. Welcome to Studs Saturn. Fuck.
You just have to sneeze. You just have to have a coughing fit in the middle of it.
Let me calm my nerves with some vitamin water. When you aspirate some saliva.
I don't often do this, but I feel like I need to take this opportunity to apologize to our audience. This is maybe the worst radio we've ever done.
ASMR session?
No. This is good. Here, can you hear this? Well, put in the comments if you can hear this. See, that's fun. Clickety clacks. You like that? And as always, my dear friends, we are coming at you live from the wonderfully built announcer desks surrounding what was WrestleMania 39. Was it 39?
Yes.
Yep.
Really? Only 39? Shame.
Only 39?
39.
It's an annual event.
I thought it'd be like more than the Super Bowl, But we all can't be NFL. Anywho,
especially if you're
we are set up, and if we put a little bit too much weight on these desks, they will collapse. So if you hear a crazed kerfuffle in the middle of our recording, that's what that is. It's our entire desk just collapsing due to being put together with sawdust and wood glue.
They're made to be collapsible.
No, they're not. Those stunts are real. Those are really
no, but even remove yourself from kayfabe and think about what that would need to be. They're a traveling production. The desk would have to be collapsible in order for it to be feasible for that.
No,
they're not shipping it fully assembled across the country.
They can do that.
They have
just a couple extra
J&K. They pick it up like a pauldron or a palanquin, and they walk it from town to town.
So, WrestleMania is cool and all, but have you heard of micro wrestling?
I have, in fact, but Maybe the audience has
Is
them.
that like? I don't even know what
I
it'd be.
think we shared this a
If
little while ago.
minis.
Did they come to Baltimore?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yes, that's the promotion,
I
right?
didn't realize they sold out, so I cannot go
You can't go to
to
micro
my
wrestling.
local Twains. So also, I don't know where the fuck they'd show it in Twains because I go there quite often, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really cramped. So they probably didn't have that many tickets to begin with.
Well, Jake, it might not need to be a full 16x16 ring.
They might be
Well,
able to squeeze it in there.
I'm thinking more of the
considering.
patrons. I'm thinking more of like the patrons that want to see it. I'm thinking it's like because there's seating area and then there's also standing area. And I'm like, this is kind of bizarre. Anyways, micro wrestling is where humans of a below average height perform really, really good feats of acrobatics and wrestling on one another while having their names be teetering on the edge of offensive and clever.
Hit me with some.
Micro Jackson is a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Of course.
Ivar the Micro. He's not that.
Do they have to put micro in all of these?
I guess so.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
I think Big Chief or Little Chief is a Native American version one. He's the Native American themed one.
The Tatanka of micro wrestling.
They have Little Show, which is that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
He's like the Braun Strowman of micro wrestling.
Probably Little Show.
Probably no. I was gonna say probably Psycho, like who's like the main who you see all over their social media.
No,
He's their
no.
Universal champ, as it were.
He was champ last year. Yeah.
So
there was Psycho, who was their kind of insane version, little person.
let me learn you something about wrestling history. So there's a long tradition of this sort of thing in Mexico. It's called the minis division, and it's for wrestlers that are 5'2" or shorter. And there are several prominent minis, like Mascara. Oh fuck, I forgot the last part of his name. Dorada, maybe? No, that's Grand Metal League. Fuck, who are the minis? Who was the mini on Lucha Underground?
Fuck if I know. I'm leaving you out to dry here, Kurt. I'm watching. I'm looking at some of these guys, and their ring gear is slapping. Like some of these are excellent.
Chief.
I don't have a roster here though.
Of what, micro wrestling?
Yeah, like who's on the in the stable.
Okay, so I don't know if these might not
Sagrada,
be current ones.
Mascarita Sagrada.
So nice.
Some of these might not be. I recognize a lot of them, so they might be not a complete list. So we got Psycho, Baby Jesus, Lil Show, Hank Dalton, who apparently died.
It's unfortunate.
Jake couldn't contain himself.
In the notes, it has 11/22/1980 to 11/04/2022. We got Hot Rod, Chief Littlefoot, Blix, Demo, Mini Chic, who I don't think he's around anymore. I haven't seen him. Flying Ryan, Hillbilly Bob, Huggy Cub, Justice, Kid J, Meatball, and Sugar James. The female wrestlers are Pinky Shortcake, Lil Miss, Lil Chola, Jersey Jess, who I don't think is there anymore, Starla Dominatrix, and Trixie Dynamite.
Gee, it's such mystery what these gimmicks.
Yeah. Kurt, friggin' all right, I'm sending you the picture for Hot Rod, and I think this is Hot Rod, like he's sporting the merch, like, or he's promoting the merch.
Yes.
Which wrestler does he remind you of?
He's got a little Tommaso Ciampa in him.
Okay, yes. That makes sense.
If you like kind of use the blur tool on his head a little bit in Photoshop.
That's Ivar the Micro.
Oh, that's Ivar? Why is he fucking promoting a fucking Hot Rod?
Because the guy in the shirt is Hot Rod.
We're not up on our
get together
micro wrestling, but we are up on our trailers.
Absolutely.
And Trae Watch, our trailer review.
Wait, I gotta show you.
It hasn't even been 20 minutes yet, Kurt. Unprofessional.
Oh man, micro wrestling. It took me micro wrestling to get into wrestling. How does that feel?
I mean, we all start from somewhere.
Yep.
Mine was just randomly flipping the channel to SmackDown because there's nothing else on television on Fridays when I was 13 or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty neat. I could watch this again.
My first exposure to wrestling again was watching. Maybe it was Forbidden Door even or something. Not Forbidden Door, but it was some like pay-per-view. But it was New Japan. It was like 2 a.m.
They ran a show on accident. Yeah, like a lot of local stations would buy the rights to like the New Japans or Ring of Honor tapings of the world and just air them at random ass time slots because it's cheap programming that would draw some sort of rating.
Something to watch, yeah. Just like Illumination's new movie that they're teasing, Migration.
What was up with this trailer? Because it was
it's their
60%. Look what we've done.
Yeah, it was their announcement.
It's a teaser.
So here's what I have to say about this. So I think I know why they did this. And it's because the Mario movie is going to flop as much as it can. It's a kid's movie and it's Mario, so it'll do fine, but it's not going to be a breakout success in the same way that Sonic was. So they probably put this in the trailers for the Mario movie because Illumination needs, they just needed to get thinking about the next product. Like, why would you split your marketing between the big movie that you're showing right now and then pull away from that to advertise the movie that you haven't even gotten an actual trailer for yet?
It's coming out Christmas, so it's not exactly a near-term thing.
This is like cutting your losses type strategy.
I don't know. I've heard good things about Mario, other than from the critics. Seems like the audience really likes it. Well, no, I think we've seen that before, where movies can be successful. It might be geared towards an audience that isn't for critics. It can be fun and goofy and full of cameos, while entertaining the audience, while the critics look at it as just like fan bait, which is something that Sonic did really good not overdoing, and I think the Mario movie is going to overdo it, but they're going to have fun with it. I've heard the Donkey Kong Country rap is in it, which is something that Seth Rogen
rap. The entirety. Yeah. I like to imagine it's the entirety.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is because I know it's right before Donkey Kong comes out for his fight against Mario.
That's the song itself isn't very long.
Yeah, so maybe they do a good amount of it. Maybe they cut it short, but that's something Seth Rogen really fought for.
I would not think that it would be the whole thing unless you're going to include the other Kongs in the movie.
Which they do.
Oh. Wait, I'm going to see Lanky Kong in this movie? 10 out of 10. Best movie ever made.
Possibly. I know there's some deep cuts for some Kongs.
He has no style. He has no grace.
He has no grace.
I know we see we're going to see Kiddy Kong in there. I think that's his name, Kiddy Kong.
Diddy?
No, there's Diddy. Well, we're going to see Diddy and Daisy?
I think Dixie.
What's Dixie.
I think the Kiddy Kong is the other Kong in Donkey Kong Country 3. Because you play as Dixie, and I think there's another little baby Kong.
Yeah, the babyest Kong. And I'm very sad they're probably not going to include any of the amazing ballads, the real bangers from the Donkey Kong TV show.
I shower you with coconut cream pie. Love the girls don't grow on trees. It's like
I
the
love the song
breeze.
where they just straight ripped off
Around the world, yeah.
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 Yes. Yep. They're just like,
Metalhead.
this is gonna be a show.
It features the worst fucking vocal performance I've ever heard.
The fucking Diddy Kong voice actor.
Yeah.
Oh, vocal. Just
It's
vocal
like
rock.
nails on fucking chalkboard. It's so bad. All right, so that's migration.
Would you say it's hypnotic?
I thought we knocked this off the table of credulity after like Scooby Doo. Y'all remember that episode of Scooby Doo where the dude like hypnotized people? He was like a ghost at the carnival.
Y'all remember the episode of Batman Beyond? Where Spellbinder
this is the fucking Spellbinder origin story. We're almost at that level in the future.
So I was under the impression hypnotism, like you have to be hypnotized first, and then you get like a code word that can like trigger you like a Russian agent at any point, which is what they're playing this out to be like. Except they're just using the trigger words.
I don't super believe in hypnotism.
Yeah, so like hypnotism, you can kind of fall into a suggestive state, like I guess, but the suggestive state is like you're just kind of like half asleep and you're just kind of vibing. Yeah. So when they tell you to do something and it's something like you can't do something, you can't be coerced to do things via hypnotic suggestion. That is not a thing that happens. You can't do something that you wouldn't want to do.
You can't be told to like walk in front of a bus and take your shirt off, or shoot somebody.
Surprisingly, no.
Yeah.
Part of it is
that's true.
You get a chance to do wacky stuff, and no one's gonna think you're weird because I was under hypnosis. Yeah. And the other part of it is like they kind of make you go a little sleepy, and then you kind of do a thing. You're like, hey, maybe I will sit. I'll dance with this broom. This is easy.
Yeah. So this movie could either be okay or dumb as shit.
Oh, it might be both. Like it's definitely dumb as shit because they're like it's like instantaneous. Like I have mind. They're playing it like he has mind beams.
Yeah, which is like, are you a mutant? Is this in the MCU?
Are you an X-Man?
Because it's like he just says like crazy code words that are like random, and it's
You're
like,
not the right man.
Oh my god, that's the trigger word. And then they do like an Inception style, like you don't even know what you're hypnotized right now, Ben Affleck. You're not even looking at what's real, and then a house appears in front of you. This man has the ability
it turns into like fucking Mysterio powers. Yeah, you don't know what's real and what's not. This is just reminds me of that video I saw where it's like, are the magicians from Now You See Me just wizards?
Were they?
The answer was yeah. Some of them were just wizards because the magic that they do is not doable by actual like illusionists and such.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were definitely just doing magic that whole time, especially the hypnotist who could like through the power of white rap, he makes a man fall asleep in like 2 seconds. It's so good.
So Ben Affleck is a carrot.
Ben Affleck is hypnotized. Yeah. Side note, just you got me thinking about Spellbinder because he's this concept done a little better.
Just a tad.
Spellbinder had the hardest fall off of any Batman villain in terms of the repeat appearance, because in the first one he was mind hacking people to commit high profile crimes. He was like, he was in the shadows. He was puppeteering these massive, massive crime sprees. Second appearance, hey kid, jump in this VR machine. It's totally cool. I'm gonna get you VR crack addicted.
Hey, he had to change up his MO. Otherwise, Batman would have shut him down immediately.
Yeah.
Can't be too obvious. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling bats.
What was that?
And your $1 million of gadgets.
Oh yeah, it was one Shriek. He hooked up he turned a building into a tuning fork.
Love that. Ingenuity.
Powerful.
Wow.
I want that's why I want the Batman Beyond, like a movie or another series or something.
Give us the 4th season of Batman Beyond, you fucking cowards.
They fucking did it. They're doing it with Clone High.
Well, I mean, I guess
Clone High's getting fucking rebooted.
Yeah, but it'd be rough to do an animated Batman of any sort.
In this day and age.
Speaking of animated Batman short, Margot Robbie reprises her role as Harley Quinn in Barbie, which we got a full trailer.
I'm the Joker, Barbie.
Yeah. When Ryan Gosling took off his face and was actually the Joker, man, I was shocked.
It was certainly a surprising turn I did not see coming.
So this is a movie that's happening for sure. Mm-hmm. And everybody looks weird and plastic, which I guess is on brand.
Yeah, that's probably the point.
I love the marketing that's coming out for this, kind of just showcasing each Barbie, and having all the different Barbies from like the playset and their jobs, including the forgotten Barbie that was like drawn on and hair was cut and everything and tossed off to the side, played by Kate McKinnon, which is fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah. It's interesting to see movies about like a property or a thing that isn't a story, because you have to make a story out of it, which is like, all you have to go on is the visuals, the general vibe, and like maybe some in jokes about the culture surrounding it.
And the same
like
could
Alan.
be said about the Lego movie, which was a big success. However, the second Lego movie was not a success. It was not very good.
Yeah, I think when they try to like stretch it and rely less on the neat Easter eggs and the self-contained story, then it tends to jump the shark. So maybe Barbie will actually be pretty decent, because I did not expect the Lego movie to be as good as it was, and it fucking rocked. Just like in this, where they're bringing up deep cuts to Barbie lore and having Alan show up, and it's like there's only one Alan, and when they were making Barbie dolls, there was Ken, but then they also, for whatever reason, made Alan, and
Alan the home wrecker.
I don't know what Alan's story was. Somebody described it, like why they made him. I forgot what it was, but like it. Yeah, they just randomly made another guy. It was like Barbie, Ken, and Alan. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Apropos of nothing to do with this movie, but we've been talking a lot about Sonic. Tom Kalinske, who was president of Sega of America during the 90s when Sonic came out, was formerly the head of the Barbie division of Mattel.
Hey.
Largely credited with bringing that brand back from the brink.
Oh yeah, people are saying they want to get
the brains behind Sonic. They know what's up.
I don't know when this is exactly dropping, but people are July 21st. People are hoping to get the double feature Oppenheimer and Barbie double release, which I think would be
like the Doom Animal Crossing double release.
That would be like peanut butter and jelly, dude. Because you're gonna come out of Oppenheimer just being like, "Where's the nearest liquor store? Alexa, take me to drugs."
Humanity is so fucked.
You're gonna want to talk about.
I wish I could escape this reality and just go to one where everything's happy and the color is restored to my life. Oh,
I think if you take shrooms at the third act of Oppenheimer and have them fully kick in at the beginning of Barbie, that's gonna be a fun night for you.
That would be solid.
I think if you time it correctly, if you get that timed release mushroom effect going.
If you take salvia while you're watching the Barbie movie, will you think you're will you think you turned into a doll?
I don't think
Like,
you want to. One of the times I would least want to take salvia would be in an environment where I don't have complete control over it, and there's a moving picture on a 70-foot screen in front of me.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50. Like, you either become a Barbie doll or you become the theater chair or maybe like the bucket of popcorn.
Or you
Either
die
way,
of
you're turning
cardiac
into an inanimate
arrest.
object as soon as you smoke that.
If you do smoke that, just make sure you do not bring your other Barbie dolls around you because they will come to life
And try to kill you.
Freak you out, man.
I love how that's like the signature move of salvia is like ego death. It's not even just like getting high or relaxed. It's just like you have no idea where your body ends and the rest of the world begins.
Did you know they found the K-hole? Speaking of drugs.
No, where is it on the body?
The K-hole. It's not on the body, you silly goose. Go back to the
Where's
pond.
my K-hole?
Go back to migration. No, the K-hole is a thing that happens to you when you are doing ketamine, where it's the peak of the high. You know, people cite some crazy shit.
I thought we already found this. That's why they called it the K-hole.
They gave it to goats. And then they hooked
they
some
did surgery
shit
on a grape.
No, they did surgery.
They gave ketamine to goats.
So they gave ketamine to goats and they hooked shit up to their brains, and they found out that their brain function just shut off in the middle of their high when they were tripping balls. It went beep. It flatlined, dude, and then it just shot back up like nothing was happening. And then the goat was like, I gotta call my mom.
I mean, that's almost what it's supposed to be used for. It's a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, apparently it's like an ego death. It's the K-hole, where it like is supposed to restart your brain, and like you do experience that. You experience like brain death for a little bit. So
that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to do, is just to die while taking drugs.
Yo, let's go trip on some.
I just want to die.
A couple times. Feel like I've come face to face with my mortality a couple times.
You want to talk about brain death? Blue Beetle trailer number
I
1.
I was wondering where you were going with this. Yeah, Blue Beetle is a movie that I saw posters for in my local movie theater long before this trailer came out, and it had a release date of this year. And I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna ever see anything about this movie.
Yeah, I forgot that they were working on this because I heard about this a while ago that he was cast as Blue Beetle. I did not know they started filming. They've obviously finished filming. Yes. Good for them. And I remember our Cobra Kai kid is going to be in it.
Miguel
Sholo, which again, I learned that they it's the same spelling, but when it's a person's name, it is pronounced differently. You do not pronounce it Cholo. Because I was like, that can't be his name. Like you can't literally call him Cholo. That's just bad. It's just a problem. How do you do that?
It also has
Cholo.
what is his name? The whoever's dad is the show. I'm blanking on his name. George Lopez. Jorge Lopez.
Oh yeah, that is him. I'm watching it. Watching it again now.
He went from waking kids up at 2 a.m. from his loud ass intro to his show. I've been woken up so many times with that shit.
Wait, the George Lopez show or Lopez Tonight?
No, the George Lopez show.
Okay.
His low rider.
Get a it was always the end of the night.
It was the tail end of the Nick at Night block of forgotten sitcoms that were easy to obtain broadcasting rights to.
Yeah, we'd have that shit like playing, and like in the middle of the night, it just would blast so loud and just wake us up from our REM sleep. So that was cool. But yeah, I don't know. The movie looks pretty solid.
I can't make a good judgment of it yet.
I don't like the CG on the suit. They went
like
full. They went full animated character.
Well, yeah, they're trying to. I feel like they're trying to do a cross between Shazam and Iron Man with this.
Yeah.
And so the Iron Man was a fully animated character. So too can be Blue Beetle.
Yeah. It feels like I'm watching this trailer and it really feels like it's Blue Beetle and his family.
Yeah, that's where the Shazam angle comes in for me.
Yeah, but even in Shazam, the family wasn't like doing the adventures the whole movie with him. Like at the end,
yeah, towards the end when they got their powers and stuff like that. And then towards the end, also for Shazam 2.
But in Shazam 2, they did the adventures with him the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fans of Blue Beetle out there. And I think they did an okay job making a live action one. I think they could have done a lot of different stuff that could have been a departure from it and worse.
Yeah, there have been a lot of different Blue Beetles in the comics. A lot of different people have been the Blue Beetle. This is seemingly based quite largely on the Young Justice version of Blue Beetle, which was a pretty good character. So, yeah, I think this movie could be good. I don't know exactly where it's going to fit in the broader context of everything. I don't know if they know that at this point.
Yeah, they did not show, like, I don't think they showed who the villain was other than the one executive that I guess they stole the powers from, or the scarab from, and they want it back. Which is
the plot of fucking Ant-Man.
And Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if the lady was an alien? Part of me was like, what if they just made this like a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold movie?
I think Blue Beetle should have his own movie.
Yeah.
And I think Booster Gold could maybe warrant his own movie. Well, no. There's like only one.
Booster Gold can maybe not exist.
Yeah, he doesn't need to exist. And if he does exist, he can just be the vehicle for the one story he was ever good in, where he was like the last guy left and he had the time travel back and stop the calamity from happening. Was that in Blackest Night? I don't know.
Don't know. You do it in the old Days of Future Past kind of deal.
Unfortunately, for like the state that DC's in right now, I think it's gonna go the way that a lot of these like one-off DC movies go, where they're gonna have an end credits scene that's supposed to tie into the next one, but it's not really ever gonna culminate into anything, and they're really not sure how to tie him into the rest of the DC universe because, we got James Gunn coming in here and Kevin Feigeing it all together and stitching up what they have.
Yeah, I feel like Blue Beetle could be pretty easy to slot into a future JSA team-up movie.
Yeah, but I mean, where we are on like that sort of release date, it seems like we're gonna have a Blue Beetle movie in 2023, and then he'll return in 7 years when we finally get around to the JSA. And then at that point, how excited are we going to be for DC movies?
I mean, I can't be much less excited for DC movies than
I am so hyped for DC. I think once I see the first James Gunn project.
Yeah, I want to know where like his creative vision starts.
That's going to kind of set the tone for how the rest of the shit's going to go.
Hey, James Gunn, I know you listen to this show every week. I know you buy our merch. It doesn't exist. You order it custom made on Etsy. I know you do this.
He buys my leftover shit from Plato's Closet.
Dude,
so
if
he
I-
buys our
Exactly.
merch.
So, with as big a fan as you are, you know that the first movie you have to make is the Question movie. James Gunn's The Question. Don't worry, you'll get to use exactly none of the flair and colorful style that you're known for. This is going to be, you're going to do a more dark noir thriller than Zack Snyder ever thought he could.
You're going to make Seven look like pussy shit.
Like, I don't even know who The Question's like. I only know him from Unlimited. That might be his only existence.
That's not his only existence, but that is probably the coolest the character has ever been. He doesn't have like villains. He's not like a superhero per se. He's just a hard-boiled detective.
Oh, you know where he appeared? He appeared in Charlton Comics' Blue Beetle #1.
Hey.
Hell yeah. Cool. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know much about him. So, I just like the character. I like him from when I saw him. He snagged me. So, hell yeah. Maybe I should just read up. Maybe I should just get into it, you know?
Yeah. Read about The Question. So that's Blue Beetle. It's going to be interesting. I feel like this movie might do well if The Flash does really well. That might rekindle some interest in DC projects. And
yeah, the Flash gonna be weird. Definitely. I don't know how much the controversy surrounding Ezra Miller is
I
gonna
don't
be.
think anyone is thinking about that when they think of The Flash right now. They're all thinking of Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, and he hasn't been on Twitter for a while. He's been pretty quiet, so there could be a good amount of people who just like kind of
Like,
chose to
honestly,
forget it.
if we didn't do this show every week where we talked about him a lot more than I think most people, I would have forgotten. Like, I don't even remember exactly what he was accused. He slapped some guy, right?
He kidnapped somebody, I think.
Okay.
Wait, Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, on multiple occasions in multiple states.
He like kidnapped somebody and then like did a lot of like breaking and entering.
But he also assaulted someone in Spain, right? I'm not making
Yes.
that up. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah.
that was the guy who played Homelander.
Was it
What's his name?
Martin
Ezra
Starr?
Miller might have
no,
hit
Martin
somebody
Starr.
in Hawaii.
Someone,
Remember-
yeah, it's like Hugo
Ezra
Starr.
Miller hit someone somewhere. I feel like I'm playing Clue. It was Ezra Miller
Ezra
with the
Miller's-
candlestick in the foyer.
Let's just look up Ezra Miller's crimes. Yeah, he had like a scuffle at a bar in Hawaii. He like
Okay, that's what it was. That's what I'm thinking.
lunging at a dude. Yeah, here from the Evening Standard. What did Ezra Miller do? Timeline of incidents and arrests.
Here we go, baby.
Plural. March 22. Arrested for disorderly conduct, restraining order. You know, allegedly stole a passport and a wallet. April 2022. Arrested for allegedly throwing a chair, which hit a woman in the head after being asked to leave a private residence. So he broke into someone's house, attacked a family, threw a chair at their head, got arrested. August 2022. Charged over the alleged burglary of a home in Vermont. In January 2023, pleaded guilty to unlawful trespass.
Man, I thought I saw a good Ezra Miller meme where it was the Bush receiving the news about the towers, and the guy whispering was like,
Ezra Miller has attacked a second family.
Ezra Miller has attacked a second. Ezra Miller has hit the towers.
Yeah. No, it was look, let me see. It was Anthony Starr. That's the guy who played. Anthony Starr, Spain. Yeah, he was. I think he got drunk and had like a dust up in Spain, like late at night. So it was like he got arrested for like a street brawl.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, who amongst us hasn't?
He was shooting. Wait, what Guy Ritchie movie was he shooting?
Probably the next one that's coming out.
Yeah, action thriller for Guy Ritchie. It co-stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, The Covenant, I guess would be that one.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he got drunk. He got into like hey, yeah, what are you doing? Oh, fuck,
I'm the
paddy wagon
motherfucking
cum.
Homelander.
Yeah, threw him in the drunk tank. I love these fucking accounts where they're like, they say that he said, hey, you don't know who you messed with. You won't know who I am and what you've done.
I think the movie might do better actually now that there's so many funny memes about him.
He's a good actor.
Just him terrorizing people.
There's been plenty of times where unsavory person's inclusion in a film has not really affected its business.
Yeah, man. Speaking of unsavory actions,
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Spoder guy.
We got a new trailer for Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I still like it. I still want to see it.
Do you?
I'm still gonna go on Wednesday, and then that Thursday, and then that Friday, and probably that Saturday.
Yeah, when does it come out?
June 2nd.
And we're all gonna catch it in 3D because this is one of the few movies that I will evangelize.
Bitch, I'm gonna catch this in IMAX 3D.
Hell
Dude,
yeah!
Spot looks really fun, like a fun villain.
Yeah, like isn't Spot like low key an awesome villain? Like when he showed up in the Spider-Man animated series, it was like really awesome, and it kicked off a lot of like really important events. And like it seems like he's gonna be the impetus to some of the shit in this one. There are a lot of Spider-Man cameos in here. If you pause and you leaf through it, very visible in one scene is the PlayStation Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it looks good. It just
it's gonna tell another great story.
I have very high confidence. It's not often I get on Trae Watch and say, yeah, this movie unequivocally will slap. But here I am. This movie unequivocally, undoubtedly will slap. I don't know if it'll
100.
slap as hard as Into the Spider-Verse. Because
and I think
it's just hard. It's just hard to improve on what is already damn near perfect.
They gave some blink and you'll miss it information about the MCU as well. He named the Earth that the MCU takes place on.
Was it 616?
No, 1999-99. So that's
Okay.
6 nines, I think. Yeah.
169. Takeshi MCU 69.
Takeshi, Tom Kenshi 69 confirmed.
Tom Crunchy 69.
Yeah, because he listed out Doctor Strange and that nerd.
Yeah,
I messed up before. Like
that.
he's not allowed in our group, in our band of Spider-Man, which is cool.
But wasn't part of that spell that everyone forgets he was Spider-Man? So would they not also be counted at that?
He only knows him as that nerd.
I guess that's true. I also don't expect them to really care about this.
I like to imagine they're like, I wonder who he is, and they kind of like they all pick their IDs and look at him, and they're like, oh yeah, it's probably Peter.
It's probably Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Probably, yeah.
Just process of elimination.
If I had to take a guess at it, it's probably Peter Parker.
Yeah, I mean, looks great, looks fun. What the fuck else more do we gotta say?
Yeah, it's gonna be,
and people won't sleep on it. Like I feel like we almost did sleep on it last time. Like I remember, I was cynical on the first trailer. I was like, oh no, Sony animated Spider-Man movie.
This doesn't look. The animation looks weird. I don't really like it. We'll see how it is. And then I don't know if we had a change of attitude on later trailers or not. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit. I have never been more wrong in my life.
Fucking vindicated.
And this is coming from a man
Yeah.
who predicted the Nintendo Switch to be a massive failure. When I say that I have never been more wrong in my life about Spider-Verse, you can take that
Very
with the
including
gravity
that, yeah.
that it warrants.
Yeah, that's the big one. I think that covers it for the main ones.
Yeah, I'd say that's
there's
all
like
the trailers.
Extraction, which I'm gonna shout out because the trailer looked like a good trailer.
Wait, is it not Extraction 2?
Or Extraction 2, yeah.
It's the sequel to Extraction.
Extract again.
Re-extract.
Pull out more impurities. Yeah, because it's a one scene from the movie, and then some other stuff right at the end. So it gives you a good sense of what the fuck's going on, and what the overtones of the plot, and how are you gonna feel about it. So so what a great trailer. Liam Hemsworth is Chris Hemsworth, other Hemsworth, is going to beat the fuck out of everyone. We're feeling that John Wick vibe. We're in that John Wick mood. We crave the next John Wick. The future, the once and future Wick.
You and every studio in America is craving the next John Wick. All right, well, that'll do it for the trailers. Let's talk now about the box office in our segment called The Follow-Up. Domestic Weekend 13, covering March 31st through April 2nd. Taking the top spot at the box office, but not with nearly the opening that John Wick 4 had, is Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, which just happens to be a movie we're reviewing later in the show, so we won't talk about it too much now, other than telling you that it made $37.2 million in about 3,800 theaters for Paramount Pictures, and so far has grossed $82 million worldwide. I don't know what the budget on this movie was. It seemed relatively modest.
Could be. There are
150 million.
How much?
150 million.
Oof, that is a lot more than it is made.
That doth suck.
I think this is going to have a stronger week too. Not stronger than it is now, but I mean, I don't think you're going to see a huge drop.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the drop off on John Wick, but I think that has a lot to do with Dungeons & Dragons opening right on its heels. And I wonder if we're going to see a similar effect with Dungeons & Dragons with the Mario movie coming right on its heels.
Yeah, it's a tough time to come out right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to make the bold claim. Mario movie isn't going to be in first on the box office list next week.
What else is opening? Or do you think it's just not going to do better?
It's just not going to do that well. That is my assertion. That's the hot, spicy, long odds take.
That is quite the spicy take. I'll put up 150 internets on that bet.
Okay.
You know what? I could see that kind of, because we are going into Easter weekend, and if it's releasing now, a lot of people are traveling. A lot of people are going to be with family. Easter weekend's weird because it's usually not the one that you're like, oh, you got a whole lot of free time. It's usually got like shit to do, a lot of dinners to start cooking for.
It's going to sound really bad, but on a major religious holiday weekend like a Christmas or an Easter, the movie that wins most often is the movie that appeals to the non-Christians of the world.
It's true. Unless you're going to be like, Jesus got his one up. Come see Mario, where Mario will get his one up. Mario Jesus.
I would find it hard because for all the reasons you're saying that the box office take for Mario might not be super high, is also applicable to every other movie out right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm calling it's not going to be first just because I think it's just not going to be a good movie. People aren't gonna.
It's just Dungeons and Dragons here, and its opening week only managed $37 million. If you take the standard 50% week over week drop, you're looking at like what, 18.5 million. It's hard for me to imagine that the Mario movie isn't going to be able to make more than $18.5 million.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with Mario not beating it. But
I mean, John Wick could have a resurgence, maybe, but that's about the only scenario I can see that happening in.
You know what? If it's in first, I'll eat a hot wing. And if it isn't,
what a punishment!
Y'all gotta buy me a hot wing.
Okay,
you heard it here first,
fine.
folks.
I'll buy you a hot wing if.
Give me one of. You're gonna give me those Dave's. You're gonna give me the Dave's hot chicken Reaper, like the gigunderness hot tenders.
I'm not
the ones
spending
that
$6 on a chicken
hand.
tender.
I mean, if I pay $6 for a chicken tender, that's about the size of chicken tender I'm expecting.
It is quite large, but it is also the same cost as a 3-pound bag of frozen chicken breast at my grocery store of choice.
I mean, the same could be said of all religion. I mean, fast food chains.
Speaking of religions, actually, well, I did skip over John Wick. John Wick Chapter 4 in second, 61.6% drop. Big drop for what is a quality movie.
Yeah, 61%.
But I guess,
everyone saw it and was like, I'm satisfied.
A lot of audience overlap, too, I feel, between D&D and John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably explains a lot of it. Its worldwide gross is $250 million, so I'm sure they're very happy with how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of religion, his only son is in third. $5.5 million in just under 2,000 theaters. From Angel Studios comes the story of Abraham and his faith-testing 3-day bender, where he got a little confused about what he was going to do with his kid. He finally got there.
I could see him going on a fucking K-hole trip. And he's holding the knife up to Isaac. He's
like the Old Testament.
And he just
God
he gets lucid. And he's like, holy shit. He drops the knife and just starts walking. I was this close, man. I was this close.
If I remember correctly, God just says it was just a prank, bro, as he's about to stab his son.
Oh my God.
It's
yeah,
I just wanted.
You were actually gonna do it, bro? Are you kidding me?
I was just testing you.
Man.
I just wanted to see how far I could push you. Like, God in the Old Testament's a fucking dick.
Oh yeah.
But let's hear what the people have to say.
What the fans have to say
about his only son of the 6.5 rating on IMDb. So it's always funny when we do a religious movie because I read the 10-star reviews around these parts, and they're all like religious zealots, and I am the opposite of that. So it's always amusing to me. From T King 281 comes a 9 out of 10 review. Connects the dots. It is often said that Scripture interprets Scripture, but most of us are working with incidental fragments from a rather large book. This writer takes one of the toughest messages and manages to assemble the supporting chapters and events without becoming bogged down, overwhelming the novice, or boring the expert. Expert Bible studier, I guess.
I'm like level 10 Jesus black belt.
I know the story of Abraham and Sarah quite well and bought tickets with the idea that I would suffer through a low-budget interpretation for a good cause. Sorry, you bought tickets to a movie you thought was going to suck for a good cause of funneling money to a private movie studio?
It's called tithing, Kurt.
I suppose that's true. But it was a great show. Semicolon. The rare semicolon. Appropriately used, nonetheless. I walked away feeling like I met the characters and gained new perspectives on the message. Nice segue into the Gospels. Great message for young and old. light on the graphic stuff, and excellent for conversation after the film. 42 out of 50 found that helpful. I thought it would suffer for the low budget interpretation.
But actually, it's like really good.
All right, time to find out all the people who are canceling the Christians. Let's get them. Let's get them, boys. 1 out of 10. Zender Bender said, same old cliche Christian movie. Waste of time. Oh,
same
spicy.
old cliched story of Abraham and Isaac.
I love it. I love it. Let's see what you pick apart. Honestly, I can't believe people still make these old cliche movies with same story over and over, bringing nothing new to the table. Instead of what could have been a good movie with good direction, filled with emotion and drama, it turns out to be just another Christian flick with the same old storyline. It's like they took it from a book or something like that. The movie
is always less good than the source material.
True, they always cut out a big chunk of
always.
it. You know?
The Forrest Gump movie is much better than the Forrest Gump book.
Very true. If only the Bible could be like Forrest Gump.
Yes. If Jesus could be more like, and then
just Christians be more like Forrest.
He's out there doing the loaves and fishes. He's like, there's plenty you can do. You can do fish broil, fish
fry, fish fry on Fridays. That rhymes. That works out there. Yeah, we got Paul and Jesus fishing boat.
Yeah.
Because his best friend is Paul, wasn't it?
Yep.
One of the disciples.
They did canonically go out on that water all the time. Dude, they were out on Jesus's party yacht.
Yeah,
and that one time Peter he fell off the edge and Jesus was like, bro, I got you. Just believe.
Party rock in Jerusalem.
He stepped out, T-posing on the water.
Ocean
like a J.
T-posing.
I'd say like a G, but he was a J.
No, he's cheating. Those are hacks, Jesus. You can't do that. Fucking ban him from my account. my
and then he
my emperor works for Nintendo.
Commit suicide.
Oh god, let me finish this shit. The movie have little for non-Christians. For example, billions of Muslims believe it was Ishmael that Abraham took to sacrifice on the mountain, not Isaac, since Isaac wasn't even born yet, and Ishmael was the only son at the time Abraham had, which makes sense. So picking a Christian narrative instead the movie becomes victim of inciting hate towards Arabs, in my opinion, as it looks like a pitiful attempt that tries to rob them of their heritage. 2 out of 9 found that helpful. Ooh, spicy take from Zender Bender.
From Duke Joyce, 4 out of 10. Touching account of a few negative comments. Appreciated the movie, very moving, and pointed to God's sacrifice of his only son, our Lord Jesus. My only drawback is the audio. I found myself wishing for captioning. I couldn't always understand what was being said.
I love that you're doing an old Jewish man voice for this Christian movie.
This 2 accents diverged in a yellow wood, and I could not determine between them. One is the Michigan. Yeah, it's the Michiganer. I'm from the Midwest, don't you know? And the other is an old Jewish man. Oh, my voice is going up, but where? Who knows? Also, I don't like the poster of Abraham looking up. The facial expression is very unflattering, and the hair looks like a wig. It was somewhat slow-moving, and the flashback sometimes momentarily confusing. I thought Sarah's emotional complaining acted well, but portrayed her as a faithless complainer. Loved the ending with the 3 crosses and the centurion falling at the feet of Jesus. And the salvation scripture verse at the end, we are great. 2 out of 11, and 0 out of 2 accents.
I do have to
Nailed.
apologize. I guess since this is an Old Testament story, it would be in the Torah. So conceivably, a Jewish person would have cause to have seen this movie.
It's my favorite movie, Torah.
All right. From YKJDH. It's biblically accurate and it's very powerful. I've read other sites that gave this movie a thumbs down, blasting its production values and how faith-based films will never reach the success of mainstream films. Thing is, though, I think faith-based filmmakers are actually trying to separate themselves from mainstream to ensure their films aren't from the perspective of corporate executives, but rather the scriptures themselves. This movie is accurate, and the production values here may not rival the likes of Marvel movies in terms of budget, but the cinematography here is still incredible. Take a drink. If there is one gripe, it would be how to get folks who don't believe into theaters next to those who do. Audiences have spoken either way and want more faith-based movies brought to the screen. The story of Abraham is told accurately according to the scriptures. I will never understand how secular audiences badmouth this film when it is based on the scriptures. Nevertheless, it's meant to be enjoyed by everyone and hopefully inspire. 4 out of 7 found that helpful.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
That's my
All
Long
right.
Islands.
Oh.
All right. Do you want a long one from Loving God or a less long one from Mimu?
Well, I gotta know what the loving God has to negatively say about
I
a
guess
movie
so, yeah.
based on Abraham.
Okay. Long it is. I'll try to go fast with this one. 2 out of 10. Loving God says an honest review. I love any stories that show the people in the Bible. They bring the people God used to life, and it. Oh, this is gonna be rough. It's
God
the
used
first
to
sentence.
like.
Oh, they bring the people God used to life, and it makes them real to us. Abraham struggled with God's command to sacrifice his only son through Sarah, the same son God promised to use to make the great nation. Anyone who's familiar with the story can feel Abraham's pain. God bless Helling for bringing to life one of the Bible's foreshadowings of the coming
Wait.
Christ.
Is the director's late name literally Helling?
I think so. Yeah. God bless Helling for bringing. Yeah. That's right. Because somebody else said Helling.
God bless hell.
Fucking talk about normative determinism.
Yeah. Right. But our pastor encouraged our congregation to go see the movie, then go online to give it 10 stars. I've heard the same admonition over many years for several Christian movies, but for the most part, they've not been that great. I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but there have been very few. I'm having trouble reading. I moved the thing.
He lost
over,
his place,
so...
boys.
Oh no.
No, I'm just gonna.
That's why they have the little reading helper in the Torah, the little reader stick.
Yeah,
so you don't lose your place when you're reading the ancient language.
I want to get like a Chrome widget that'll like embolden like the first like couple letters of the thing to make it easier to digest, but whatever. Let me collect myself. Fuck. But for the most part, they've not been that great. I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but there have been very few that have been as good as the old Billy Graham movies from the 70s. That's a long time ago. I agree with the reviews here call it foreboding. Sure, Abraham's task was a terrible one to face, but from reading the OT, is that the original? Old Testament.
OT,
sorry. OT, Old Testament. I never got the impression his and Sarah's entire life was one big ball of frustration, as this movie portrays. God bless Abraham beyond the wildest dreams in many ways, but Isaac's birth is a small afterthought. I was looking forward to Sarah hearing God and laughing, just to hear someone laugh at least. but except for a brief movement, all we get from Sarah was sadness. The actress who played her was incredible, but her character was unfortunately one-dimensional. I can agree with a person's desire to spread God's word, but I don't have to pretend to enjoy how they go about it. It's not a sin, and neither is it a false review, as one reviewer here imagines. If it's person's honest opinion, it's just that. Take it or leave it. I enjoy The Chosen because it makes Jesus real and even happy when appropriate. This is a major missing element in the Bible movies. I believe it's inaccurate and a disservice to God and of her. It's all one word. And of her example is another example. Jesus fucking right. And of her
clues.
Yeah. Is I've only seen one or two paintings of Jesus smiling. Most others show him as somber and sad and mourning. That's just how this movie comes across about Abraham. But hey, he is risen, and his kindness leads us to repentance. And I have no doubt Abraham and Sarah had a special relationship with God that they brought them joy to. That joy is what's missing in the story and would make God very unusual command to sacrifice Abraham and Sarah's only son to so poignant. It had to have felt so strange to them, but their whole life has boiled down to the strange and distant God, expecting blind obedience and dirty face and fingernails. Abraham had a lot of money that at that age, so a tattered tent was not even true to the biblical story. Recall all that King Abimelech gave him, the way of faith in God.
Yes, I definitely recall that.
Yeah, right. But his loving kindness said
actually, if you read chapter number 3 in issue 57 of Jesus Stories,
we got a Bible nerd over here. And the cruel gods of Abraham, cruel gods, plural, of Abraham's time. That loving kindness is missing in the story. 6 out of 12 found that helpful. Whew.
These reviews have been kind of like disappointingly cogent. Like,
yeah, I know, no racism in this shit.
But I do appreciate the dichotomy between the 1 and the 10-star reviews. All the 10-star reviews are like, it's based on the scriptures. How can you hate it? And all the 1-star reviews are like, it doesn't accurately reflect what's written in the Bible.
They don't accurately report Abraham's net worth, as you can see in the ancient Dead Sea tax returns.
Dude didn't smile enough.
He did not
1
claim
star.
Isaac as an independent because he was not expecting to have a child by the tax time that year.
He falsified his business documents.
He definitely would have built up equity to have more than just a tent. He would have had a shack at least.
Abraham, what are you going to find under dependence? He just said multiplied and be fruitful. Or just
the lumber.
begat.
The lumber that he used did not accurately depict that era. It looks like poplar from Home Depot.
Remember that part of the Bible that was just 23andMe for the 12 tribes? It was just the fucking town hall records, their whole genealogy. That was some fun shit.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
I tried to read the Bible and I got to that point, and I was like, this is boring as shit.
Wait, is that like the one long passage where it just goes through like who was descended from who?
Yup.
Dude, they read that at our Christmas Eve or Christmas Mass one time. I was dying. And Kristen knew what it was about. I'd already heard this one before. And she was like, oh my God, this is what they're going with? It's like, this is why I fucking hate Catholics. She said that to me.
Why would they read the equivalent of the end credits?
Yeah, they literally just like read off names.
I might as well just read the fucking the VFX team on an Avengers movie. That Vietnam War memorial.
Imagine reading the credits for the Bible and being like, did you guys get something out of that?
Wow, so enlightening.
Be thankful.
Methuselah begat Methuselah and died at 358.
Yeah, it sounded like a Dr. Seuss book after a certain point. How many Suzellas came from Methuselah?
Oh, let's get serious. I don't run too fast. 3 out of 10 review.
He's fat and he don't run too fast, but he's faster than me. Show my walkie-talkie man.
So there were no 5-star reviews, notably. Very divisive. So I took this 3 out of 10 review. And don't say that Christians aren't honest, because this is the most honest, with the most real reviewer traits, real Christian reviewer traits out here.
Specifically, Christian reviewer.
Yes. 3 out of 10. My pastor asked us to watch and rate it. So my pastor asked us to watch this movie and then rate it 10 stars here and on Rotten Tomatoes because it was by far the best movie of the decade. Fine, okay. That is an opinion. Even pastors are entitled to an opinion. But as far as rating it 10 stars, it is undeserving. It holds very well to Genesis 22 with some creative liberties. In that regard, it is sound. However, its pacing is drawn out and very slow for the first half of the movie. The flashbacks and storyline is somewhat confusing, even for someone that already knows the story by heart, and the production quality is understandingly low. Honestly, very good for a Christian movie, which honestly isn't saying much. I think that this movie is getting undeserved high ratings by Christians who feel pressured to rate it as a great movie despite being just okay. 1 out of 3.
That's probably
I think they did it right there. That's the one.
Yeah, I think that's the best one. Let's
clip it, screenshot,
and ship it.
At Spotlight Film, let's head back to our scoreboard here. Scream 6 bringing in 4th place with $5.3 million in its 4th week. It has totaled $153 million worldwide. Creed 3 divided itself in 5th with just about 5 flat and 3,200 theaters. Pretty good week-over-week run there, and it's made $261 million worldwide, so I'm sure the folks over at United Artists are very happy about that one. What else we got here? Shazam! Fury of the Gods drops 4 spots from 2nd to 6th. Maybe Zach Levi will make another Instagram rant about why it's unfair.
I don't know.
We talked about it last week.
Yes.
4.6 mil.
Yep. In 7th, starting out in 7th this week, 1001. Now I think this one had releasing in 926 theaters. Come on, you're so close. This one is an indie movie because I saw it releasing in cinema. I got an email notification that it was going to release in Cinemapolis. I was like, okay, this is going to the indie market. So that explains why it's here. But that being said, still great returns.
Yeah, not a bad per theater take at all. Almost $2,000 per theater.
Yep, for a total here domestic of 1.8 million.
Just about, and since in the intervening time since the weekend, it's picked up another couple 100,000, sitting at $2.2 million currently. Only a domestic release thus far. 65 drops another 3 spots down to 8th for Sony there. 55 million worldwide for 65. Will it get to $65 million?
We can only hope.
That'll be the fucking headlines in the trade papers.
Pull it as soon as it gets there. Pull it, even if it's mid-movie.
I'm so sorry, Adam Driver. I failed you.
It was a nice idea. Execution maybe a little lacking from what I understand, but I'm sure some TV station will buy up the rights to it and air it 1 million times a day, and it'll be a cult classic.
It's gonna be a sci-fi staple.
It'll be a double feature with Moonfall.
On FX has the movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I can see the commercials now.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
65 here for you. It's my That's also the tagline for the geriatric escort service. 65 and here for you. I with this one, I feel like I have to do this. I owe a debt to you, the viewer. I have to come out and be humble. I misled you. I put you in the wrong, in a bad position. I gave out bad information, and for that, I'm sorry. Ant-Man and the Wasp is still in the top 10, 7 weeks after it's released. I understand how you might feel. I can only say that I will do better. I'll be better for you.
Good. We deserve that.
I'm going to take some time to be with my family, take some time away from reviewing the top 10 box office. And hopefully I'll reflect on what we've learned.
Yeah, I think we should all take some time, like say about a week, and reflect on what we've done wrong and what we can do better at. I think it'll be a cleansing experience for us all.
I think that's become one of my new favorite, one of my new favorite things. It's just the sincere YouTube apology.
Yeah, just the podium for nothing. The podium speech for nothing.
Do the Andrew Cuomo, I am black. I am gay.
The day I am Jew.
Disabled.
And then halfway through,
yeah.
So you got to do. I'm bringing back an old baseball meme. You got to do your sincere apology, and then at the very, right in the middle of it, and be like, and there's a deep fly ball to left field, and that'll be a home run for Nick Castellanos.
Oh,
making it a 4-0 ball game.
I know the Nick Castellanos references. He always makes some good ass plays whenever
he hits a home run right in the middle of all the most awkward commentary.
Doing a World War II memorial. Well, there's no good time in a baseball game to do a memorial, but there's Nick Castellanos with a home run right out there.
And then finally,
yeah, because didn't that one announcer get canceled for saying the F word?
Tom Brenneman, I think is his name.
Yeah,
he used a word that I have called Jake in good fun several times.
Yeah.
And he got canceled for it. And he was in the middle of the speech. He's like, I always pride myself and consider myself a man of faith. And there's a deep drive to left field. That'll be a home run for Nick Castellanos. Making it for a ball game.
He was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow.
I don't know if I'll continue to be the Reds broadcaster.
He's getting fired.
It's just in the middle of his apology speech. He slips the call in there and then continues as if he hadn't done that.
Nick Castellanos with that home run, and I am a man of faith, and I have many friends who are that word. Yeah, he got hot mic'd in the beginning. He said he called the city the city of cigarettes, bundle of sticks.
Something like that, yeah.
Boy,
it's worth the YouTubing if you have never seen it.
I might have to check it out. But finally, in 10th Fathom event, The Journey, a music special from Andrea Bocelli. Sure, I think my mom has a CD of his.
This poster's fucking metal as fuck. He's riding a white stallion in front of the palace from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's the picture looks like it's a hot new album that's just about to drop.
Looks like the cover of a romance novel.
Hey babe, wake up. The new Andrea Bocelli album just dropped. Yeah, he's on a horse. Wake up.
Wake up, samurai.
Wake up. He's merging world-class music with intimate conversations in an awe-inspiring Italian countryside.
Okay. Question that needs to be answered before I determine whether or not I spend my hard-earned money on this film. Will Stanley Tucci be making the pizza in this movie?
Oh dear God, I hope so.
So yes, and here's how. So I think this movie is the first of its kind to introduce split screen technology for your viewing pleasure, where to keep your attention throughout the movie, they're going to also put Stanley Tucci cooking compilation on one side without sound. You're going to be listening to Andrea Bocelli, but you're just going to see him making the pizzas and the lasagnas and whatnot, and you're
having
going to
his
be
friends
like, oh,
over
wow,
with wine and being like, man, I got some crazy friends.
yeah, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's really cool, but like Andrea Bocelli's movies is great, awesome. I my full attention is on this dinner in front of me. Maybe they'll play Subway Surfer in the bottom too. Get some tri-screen invention in there.
Everyone gets a complimentary glass of rosé to start out, so you're just watching the whole thing lightly buzzed, like any good Italian should be.
Nice rosé and a bump of cocaine.
Man, I wish a Regal needs to like make the upstairs concession area into a bar.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That would be fantastic. Except then they would have to ostensibly have someone old enough to serve alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a rarity at any
bar and hookah lounge. So I think
you only need to be 18 to serve alcohol. So you could get high school seniors to do it.
Yeah.
But you run the risk of them drinking the alcohol.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
But hey, a drunken hand's a heavy hand, right?
Cheap labor. I think we should drop that. The kids are going back to the mine. Let's bring the kids back to the bar. Drop that bad boy down to 14 years old. You're old enough to drink your juice. You're old enough to pour your old man a shot. Okay.
I love how we really said, the modern American economy really said, yeah, child labor's back. The mines, it's a little too inefficient. We already have robots for that. Kids, you're going to be washing the gore off of a slaughterhouse floor. We need you to hose down the killing floor for us, please. You seen those pictures where it's like a fucking 12-year-old and he's got the oversized poncho on? Oh my god.
Well, I've seen pictures of like pre-industrial evolution where child labor was tasked with like replacing parts in a still moving machine like it's the fucking climax of Snowpiercer.
Yeah. Let me see if I can't find the image. Yes, here it is. Oh yeah. Fucking classic. Employing kids to clean slaughterhouses. Here he is in full on like hard hat and scrub gear, gloves 3 times too big for his hands, fucking scrubbing out under.
This is
it's awful.
Perfect. This is what the Lord had in mind.
Is this Deep Foods? Looks an awful lot like the factory floor of Deep Foods.
This will be the first generation in a while where the youth of America know better where their food comes from than the adults because they were the ones killing them. All right, little Timmy. Now we need you to throw this switch. It's going to send lethal voltage to 10,000 of these cows at once. It's super efficient. Complete the circuit, Jimmy.
Well, I feel like there are less humane ways to do that.
Oh yes, there are also more. It's a nice middle ground. They really give them the floor from fucking Andor.
Were we? We were done with the follow up, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We're talking about Andrea Bocelli and Stanley Tucci.
All right, just making sure that I know where I am right now. Let's move now to gaming news and talk about that for a little bit here.
Video games.
Yeah.
Something those kids won't be doing.
I'm not gonna have time. Not after a 12-hour shift at Tyson Chicken.
The gaming lobby's going to have to up its efforts. Be like, we need kids back in their rooms. The virtual minds need their attention.
Yeah, can't they mine for crypto instead?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be a good one.
Jimmy,
These
we need you to crack this bit.
Jimmy and Sally's mining rigs were left unattended and unused because their time and effort were spent at the slaughterhouse instead.
We're using the new Mechanical Turk GPU.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is probably a bigger sequel than you're expecting, as some might be saying. It is more God of War than Dark Souls this time around. Oh, wow. You don't say. Yeah, so we got a lot more shots of Jedi Survivor, Fallen Order. So it looks really nice. Obviously, all games are going to be looking really
looks
nice.
Mostly the same as the other one.
What are you talking about? Have you seen how you can give him a mullet? Come on, you of all people should be like.
What's that supposed to mean, Jake?
Because you're a ginger. And I say that with the hardest of R's. Not ginger, like we're messing around. I'm saying it like I mean it, and I'm appropriating that word. I'm taking it back.
Hashtag cancel Jake. Let's get that trending on Twitter.
You can look at all the different hairstyles you can do. You could like have them look like you. Give them a nice long tail. And maybe a mullet.
Yeah,
or
I'm
known for my mullet.
or you get some. You should do the mullet.
I'm not gonna.
Bring
we're all getting haircuts for Easter. I got the trim up. Jake's gonna get a trim up.
I'm getting it tomorrow.
It's time, Kurt. Just cut off the sides.
I already did that one.
Just put your head in between two bandsaws and just go.
Yeah, dude.
That doesn't sound like the most efficient way to do that.
Dreadlocks would look nice on you, I think. So
I don't think my hair would do that.
You can give him a headband. You can make your little droid friend have different hats too. You can do all that shit.
Can we put a little Grogu on our astromech?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure there's a mod for that somewhere.
So you get to see a lot more stuff. They're bringing droids back into the picture in a big way. A lot of the old Clone Wars era droids, some battle droids. You're gonna face like the guards that Grievous had with like the stun.
The man guards.
Things. The man guards.
That's literally what they're called.
Droidicas you're gonna be able to battle against, and some maybe some.
Let's hope they're a little less annoying than they were in like Battlefront 2.
Yeah, we'll see. A couple new mechanics with like the Force. Depends on if like
there's
some
a zip
are gonna
line,
be like
isn't there? I think I saw a zip line in the trailer somewhere.
Like a grappling hook kind of deal.
I think there was always a zip line.
Well, I meant like a grappling hook.
Oh, grappling hook. Oh, I actually didn't see that, but yeah. If there is, that'd be dope. It probably is. Grappling hook is like the new rage. They're including in all the games.
They stole Halo Infinite's source code. Yeah.
Halo Infinite walked so Jedi Survivor could swing on a grappling hook. So yeah, there's some new shots of that, and it looks pretty as always, and should be a load of fun, especially because there's going to be delving more into the story, I guess. Now.
Yeah, Fallen Order was. It's a game I wanted to like a lot more than I ended up liking. But I know people who were really into it, and the system requirements for it are about in line with what the old game was. So you're not going to need too beefy a rig to run it. Mm-hmm. It's looking like recommended specs are Windows 10, 16 gigs of RAM, a 4-core / 8-thread CPU of whatever ilk you prefer. They recommend a Ryzen 5 5600X, and a. That's interesting. Okay, RX 6700 XT, or the Intel and NVIDIA equivalents of 11600K, or an RTX 2070 for recommended. So, not the most demanding game, but those aren't like cheapo specs either. So you'll be able to crank some pretty nice visuals out of it, I believe. All right, well, I'm going to talk about a different game here that came out recently. There's been a trend of remakes hitting the market recently. Some have been good, like the Resident Evil 4 remake, and some have been abominations, like The Last of Us Part 1 on the PC. This is the latest in a long run of unacceptably non-functional PC games that have come out in recent months. And it's really disheartening how a game from fucking 2013 can't be ported smoothly over to
Yeah,
the
like
PC.
I would expect it in like the old hardware where it was like a when you built it all on the system and it really wasn't analogous to a computer, but like that's not the PS3.
So despite it pre-compiling shaders, there's still massive texture and shader glitches in regular gameplay, and shader compilation, even with like a 4090, can take upwards of an hour. An hour in
Awful ports.
2023. Like fucking Tiny Tina's Wonderlands compiles shaders beforehand in like 3 minutes.
I feel like if you started making Last of Us 1 from scratch on the PC in the time it took for them to develop this port, you would probably have a better game.
I can't disagree. So, I mean, this is. I don't want to blame Naughty Dog necessarily, because this could be a situation that often happens in game development where the publisher set a release date that was way too close, and they're like, don't worry, you can fix it with patches. Just never stop working. Your family, you don't need to see your family. They're ugly. Why do you want to spend time with them? Um,
just program in some more hours into your day.
Yeah. But this is a black eye for a studio that is renowned for the polish on their games. And even the last PC port of their games. I have the Uncharted Legacy Collection, and it runs pretty damn well. Looks great and runs well on reasonable settings, but this it's just it can't continue. It feels like every major release this year, and even going back to last year, like the last couple years, every major release for a new game on PC has been plagued with some sort of issue. The stuttering in Elden Ring, the fucking just terrible frame rates in Hogwarts Legacy, and now like the barely functional game package of The Last of Us Part 1. It's a trend that needs to stop. Like, delay. Don't have it day and date on PC if it's not ready. Like, just
What? So I want it does have me thinking though. Like with consoles as high tech as they are, by which I mean very much closer to PCs than they were previously. Like, is there a way? Like, obviously, however they develop the games for the consoles, they're developing in such a way where it works on console, but it doesn't translate to PC. Like, is there a way to just take the hardware of a console and integrate it into a PC architecture so that we can play console games in a manner that works on a?
Well, so
See, I don't know if I'm talking out of my ass here.
Yeah, you're kind of. I mean, you're not making super sense, but I think I understand what you're saying. So, the interesting thing about this is that Xbox development for the Xbox and development for PC are very, very similar, and even the PS5 runs on x86 architecture, which is what personal computers have run on for decades. Like it's never
Okay.
there's never been more similarity in developing for a console and developing for PC than there is now.
Okay. I guess that is my question. I think that kind of clears up. Like, if they're so similar, what is being lost in translation, and
It's
why can't we fix that issue?
I honestly I don't know that I know enough to say what exactly is being lost in translation. It seems to me that it's when you're making for the console, you have a narrow band of hardware you have to target. And right now, because we're towards the beginning of the console generation, these consoles have power on par or slightly greater than I would say like the bottom 60% of gaming PCs out there right now. So as a
Hmm.
developer, you have to kind of develop for the lowest common denominator, which in this case is, lower end PCs, and in building in contingencies for that sort of thing, there's more room for error the more you have to tweak your base code. Um, but again, like I could be misspeaking. I've read a lot of books on game development, but I don't know a lot about game development like on a technical level and the porting to PC. But it should be like it used to be. You developed your games essentially on PC and then ported it down to the capabilities of the console. I don't know when that got switched around. But back then, PC ports were damn good.
Yeah, it was a golden age.
Yeah, it's
Um,
PC Master Race for a reason.
yeah,
And
and
it still is in like pretty much every sense, except for the fact that sometimes we get broken ports. But in fairness, oftentimes on console, you'll get a console game in a unfinished state, and you won't
Mhm.
have the twin pronged attack of official patches and fan modders patching problems with the code.
but speaking of unfinished games, the game that will never be finished and is also available on all consoles from the start. The game that will never ever be finished just dropped another content update. Um, it's No Man's Ski with their Interceptor update. This one is the combat update. So there's evil planet, there's corrupted planets now. There's new robot enemies, which were sorely needed because there was like 3 up to this point. Um, I think the guns are going to be better, and you can get interceptor fighters. You can salvage them, and you can fight freighters, and the fighting is cooler and brighter and lots more. So heck yeah, more more updates. I should probably get back into it this summer and just play all of this shit.
Yeah, just
Uh,
play video games. It's fun.
yeah.
I've been doing a lot of that since I got my Steam Deck, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I like this hobby.
Mm.
So yeah, cool shit. Again, it's in VR. That's nifty. So VR updates, the regular gameplay updates, never gonna stop.
Never
Never
gonna
gonna
get,
end.
never gonna get, never gonna get, never gonna
Never
get.
gonna get it.
Oh no.
That's a quick one. So we can jump into the feature.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Honor Among Thieves. So I'm happy to report that this movie, uh, the impression I got from the first trailer, where this was going to be a movie set in the D&D world with tasteful and organic references to certain D&D things, was correct. My initial read was correct, and the subsequent trailers that made me a little bit nervous. You didn't have to be nervous about it. I think they pulled it off, and they made a fun, swashbuckling adventure movie, the likes we haven't seen since like the early 2000s in Brendan Fraser's original heyday. Um, that is going to be enjoyable to a wide audience. I know jack shit about D&D. I was still able to find this movie very enjoyable. So I think they should make more of these, more swashbuckling adventure films, and they all need to star Chris Pine because he's the perfect man for the job.
He's the play. He has to be the D&D player. He can play different characters. Rolls up a different character every movie.
So, as the resident D&D extraordinaire, I went to go see this with my D&D party -1, and there were two very well-versed D&D players, and then some more casual people there. We really enjoyed all the references, and like you said, like all the references were kind of more natural. Like nobody was like casting their spell and yelling out firebolt or this and that. There wasn't a ton to begin with, especially when you have a druid and a sorcerer and a bard, if you'd call him that. My only gripe with the movie is that Chris Pine's character, Edmund, or is that what his name was? Edgin.
Yeah.
Fucking did nothing. Like the joke about him just making plans. That's what he did.
He saved them. His quick thinking saved them all from the chunky dragon.
He is a bard. Bards cast spells through their songs.
He's not actually a bard, though.
Yeah, obviously not, because he doesn't do shit.
He was a harper or hooker or whatever they were.
Well, a harper's a faction that you can gain. That is actually something in the books where like you are aligned with the Harper faction, but you can be a bard and be in the Harper.
But he had armor and a knife on his chest. I think he was some sort of like warrior or rogue. I don't think he was actually a bard.
I would hope that if they ever do get into like a sequel, that they'll expand on that and be like, oh yeah, maybe he was a paladin, that because they actually set him up to do a very common D&D thing, is you'll have paladins that swear an oath like he did with the Harpers. So, he could have sworn oath to the gods and then be in the Harpers as well. And then when his wife died, he rejected his oath, and you can actually follow a storyline that way.
That's why he doesn't do any D&D things
and reject your oath,
because he doesn't have any of his feats or any of his skills.
He could have been cut off from his god. He could have been cut off from his oath and like rejected his class and all that shit, and then just went to playing the lute. But yeah, he's a bard, but not in the D&D sense bard, where he actually casts inspiration on people, and you can do like actual damaging spells with your music, because you can do like psychic damage through your lute and stuff. My minor thing for me, just because it's like if you have a group of like people with all their own individual abilities, barbarian, you can rage, she's strong, she's tanky. You have the druid, which is a little bit more, she wild shapes a lot, and they actually changed the rules of D&D to fit her character, which was dumb. They made an update before the movie release that they're making changes to the druid's wild shape ability in the next update of D&D, and it allows you to transform into an owlbear, because what she does in this movie you cannot do in D&D. You cannot transform into an owlbear.
Is it because it's like a magical creature?
Yeah. It's like they're very specific on the things that you can wild shape into. It's like things that you've seen, and it's of a certain animal rating or size rather. And I think owlbear is like huge or something like that, and it might be considered like a monstrosity, which you might not be able to transform into. So it's just different classifications of things. But
hey,
I am recognizable.
I am actually super glad. Yeah, I'm super glad that the D&D enthusiasts are able to nitpick this.
Yeah,
as a movie trope, I think he fits just fine. We all love Big Trouble in Little China, and the main character in that movie also does not a lot.
Yeah, like his character, I think he serves the purpose that he needs to serve. He's the brains of the operation. And
Or at least the heart.
well, he's the ringleader. So we'll call him the brains of the operation in that sense. And he's a charismatic envoy for the audience to follow the story through, and it's a personal story to him for the most part. And like, not every character needs to be good in combat. Sometimes you just need the silver tongue guy to pass your charisma check and skirt the combat that the DM had laid out for you.
Yeah, so I mean, it felt definitely, for a general audience perspective, I was happy with the vibe it gave me. Like I know the enough where I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
And I think
the
scope of the story they told was very appropriate and approachable, and they didn't like try to shoehorn in a million different D&D references because it's the D&D movie. Like, they didn't try to make like Tiamat the dragon in the cave or some stupid shit like that.
No, yeah, and they set up a lot for the future with like the Red Wizards like actual boss possibly being like coming up in the next movie.
So I think you could like do a D&D movie that's completely unrelated to this. I think you've kind of set the stage for that. Like, you can have an Honor Among Thieves 2, which is the next adventure with this group, and I think you could also like just do Dungeons and Dragons subtitle some other fucking thing and have that be
do the Curse of Strahd movie.
The beauty of this, and you can actually kind of see that with what Critical Role does with their campaigns. Critical Role has done, I think they're on their third campaign, and they've done some side things here and there where they have a universe that is all the same universe, same continent and everything. They take it, different time periods, different things happening, and even throughout their campaign of like one, you have different arcs of things that are unrelated, and then maybe one or two of them end up connecting towards the end in a grand finale. If you were to take Critical Role's adventures, which they're doing for Amazon Prime, and chop them up into chunks, you come up with a pretty cohesive story that's written, and it has the same. And then because of this through line, it meshes really well with itself, and you could definitely do that with this, where you don't have to follow the Red Wizards. You can follow maybe the Chroma Conclave, or you could follow something else, and you maybe can do a Cult of Vecna sort of adventure, and start piecing together things that might culminate in a third, fourth, or fifth movie down the road, and have something bigger come out of this. You can really go a long ways with.
And they set up all these different locations. Like, they name drop Baldur's Gate, and they spent some time in Neverwinter, which is one that I knew because of Neverwinter Nights games on PC.
Yeah. What else did they do? Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate. Did Waterdeep was the other one. Those are like the big ones. And then they're all in the Storm Coast.
Yeah,
and they could go.
But we never saw Baldur's Gate, so there's plenty of narrative potential in there. There's like 4 video games based around shit happening in Baldur's Gate. So
tons of different modules you can pick from. So honestly, the storylines that they could go from here is endless, and I think they're gonna go out and have fun with it, which is good. If they do the same thing like this for a second movie, fantastic. It's easy, it's approachable, it works with the fans. It works with people who aren't as knowledgeable but still want a fantasy adventure movie, because we don't really get those a lot anymore.
No,
like, this is really unique now in this day and age, where we are just battered with. You either have two types of movies. You have the superhero movie, or you have
the otherwise long running franchise movie.
Yeah, or you have the the action adventure stuff, where it's like, here's main character 1 who has to stop something from happening, and he's gonna blast his way through it, and that's your other type of movie. But now you don't have like the Lord of the Rings style movies anymore to wet that whistle, and it brings a whole lot more to the picture than we've seen before. So there's a lot to it. There's politics. There's secrets. There's people who are evil for the sake of being evil.
Yep.
And you can get away with that without it being cheesy and corny.
Yeah. This I should say, that's kind of one of the unique things that this movie brings to the table. Like one of the other things is D&D's magic and fantasy it's not your bog standard fantasy. Like it's not your generic. There are unique things like the owlbear, like the way sorcery and wizardry and warlockery works. It's a shade different, and that gives some novelty when you're bringing it to a movie space. The other thing is it's lighthearted and like funny. Like there's jokes and there's a through line, but it's like a happy ending where anyone kind of generally gets stuff, and it's not trying to like talk about the underlying mystical themes of the world.
There's not like fake political allegory shoehorned in there.
Right.
Like
this isn't the fucking monomyth.
It's a straight up adventure that's easy to digest.
Which in our fantasy that we have gotten, because we do have like sword and sorcery stuff, but it's stuff like Lord of the Rings the TV show, fucking Game of Thrones 2. More thrones and less games. And everyone and all of that sorcery is like dour and people fucking and murdering each other, and like the dragon comes in and just kills everyone. They're burning to death, and you're like, oh my fucking. If you want like, there's a funny fat dragon, and he's chasing down our guys, and can they escape from the fiery pit?
Chunky Dragon is best waifu.
Yeah,
that is a spoiler, but this will entice you. Like this is the Grogu of.
I think the Chunky Dragon was in the trailer, so they should have seen it. And Thember Chod. I don't know if its name was released in the movie or not, but that was the bonus card in the Secret Lair D&D. So these did get a nice. Secret Lair Magic the Gathering release as well.
Ooh.
Where you get to see all of the classes for the characters, and that's where you see like they got Edgin as the bard. You have the human barbarian.
They have Themberchard plushies.
Themberchard plushies. It's funny. The card is funny too because dragons normally have flying, and he does not have flying unless you do something. I forgot what it is, but you can.
Let's see. He is a 5/5 for.
You can exert him.
That's 7. Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He can exert to fly.
With trample, when Themberchard enters the battle, he does X damage to each other creature without flying, and each player, where X is the number of mountains you control. That's pretty good. You may exert Themberchard as he attacks. When you do, he gains flying until end of turn. Not a great card, but
you love it.
But fun.
And you love it.
You don't buy it for the.
We're gonna get the plushie. And he's going to be the most cuddliest dragon.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a very fun movie. It oftentimes felt like I was playing like this is what would be if somebody like observing a D&D campaign or session would look like. Kind of just faster paced though, because combat really drags. But the stories often take and the dialogue often take a more lighthearted route,
because you're chilling with your buddies.
You're chilling with your buddies, and you have your DM who's trying to like maintain a pacing to a story and be like, oh, I need you to go rescue my wife, and they're being all serious, and they're like, well, what's in it for us? Where's the money? Where's the booze at? And like they're gonna go do it, but they're gonna have fun along the way. Yeah, so it is pretty apt to say that this was a D&D movie when it felt like I was watching like a campaign playthrough. Highly recommend it. It's a very fun movie. Go out and see it. It's been getting a lot of good buzz too.
I'm very glad that it turned out the way that it did. Never once did I feel like it pandered to hardcore players or to casual players. I felt like they they had the idea of what they wanted to do with their story, and they just told their story in a way that made every reference they worked in feel very natural. Like, even having the mimic in there. Like, when I first saw the mimic in the gelatinous cube in the second or third trailer, I was like, I feel like they're just shoving shit in there for the sake of shoving shit in there. But it kind of made sense within the context of the story.
Side note, you're gonna be pissed about this. Maybe we can find on YouTube to quell our fears, but if the only way is to see it in Australia, I'm gonna be mad. In the Australian edit of the film, the comedy group Auntie Donna provides the voices of the corpses.
Yeah. They put that in a what is it? I think in like a post credits thing. And we saw. I actually told Kurt about this because they put on their website, and I will send a link so y'all can enjoy. Their like behind the scenes featurette for them doing the voice casting for it, and it's charming. It's Auntie Donna. They can't swear as much as they want to, but
yeah,
there it is for you. And it's great. So I saw that. I'm like, no, what? No, why?
No.
Yeah, and when we got to that scene in the movie, Peter's like, I think this is where the Auntie Donna cameo comes in. And the first corpse kind of looks like it could have been Zach. So I was like, okay, doesn't really sound like him, but he does more voices than the other two. So maybe it is, but then the other corpses
the scene was not in there.
It was not to be. I'm sad to say, but I'm sure we can get our hands on the Australian version of the movie when the time comes. I think I can work that out. Just like I think I can work out my recommendation for y'all to see Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. If you have not already, I would say if you haven't seen John Wick yet, see that first, and then instead of the Mario movie, see this. We'll see the Mario movie so you don't have to.
Yes. I think we can go. I think we can do this. I don't have to spoil this movie. We don't have to go through it.
No. I don't think so.
I will say, like, it is kind of an all ages oriented thing, but in that 80s way where they drop some choice swears.
They budget them well.
It's that theoretical, like, if you could add one fuck to the movie, where would you put it? And you have the best minds working on where to put the fuck word in.
Was this PG-13?
I think it was.
Right. So you get your one fuck with a PG-13.
Right. There's no blood that I know of, but the villain does do very, it's that honest to goodness villain, like, dastardly kills people.
It's the X-Men level violence, like we talked about with Shazam 2.
Yeah, where like the citizenry just get fucked up.
Yeah, in a pretty gruesome way when you stop to think about the implications of what you've seen. Yes, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is rated PG-13.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's a kid, like, there's 1 out of 7 children will get scarred by a random scene, but like, y'all watch The Brave Little Toaster. It's only that, it's like that much psychic damage.
That was a lot of psychic damage, Peter. I don't think I've recovered from it.
Yeah, so it's maybe not as much as Little Toaster. Definitely not as like Watership Down. So you can take your kids. You can take your kids, and they won't be mentally scarred. They'll be scared, but kids can get scared sometimes of the bad guys, and then the heroes will they may come in to save the day.
Yeah. I also want to give props to the filmmakers for only like the least they could include of a giant spider in a D&D movie they included.
Yeah, there's 2 seconds of it.
Yeah. So I and
especially going into the Underdark.
Yeah. I and all the other arachnophobes out there want to give you a shout out to Paramount for having the good discretion to not linger on that too much.
Yep, that and Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant does awesome. I want to see more movies where Hugh Grant plays a
Sleazebag
smarmy
Hugh
villain.
Grant
Yes.
is my favorite person ever.
He's pretty
Specifically,
good.
Sleazebag Hugh Grant. Any other Hugh Grant, I can take or leave. But Sleazebag Hugh Grant, I'm there every time.
He steals the scene so often.
It
Like
just and like
it always just goes to him.
in Operation Fortune was the same way. Like he stole so many. And The Gentleman, same way, steals the scenes he's in. Like career Hugh Grant, Sleazebag Hugh Grant, can't beat him. Just like you can't beat us. But this is the end of this episode, and until next time, be well, stay safe. And there's a deep drive to left field, and that'll be a home run for Nick Castellanos, making it a 4-0 ball game. And I pride myself on partying like it's 1995.
That's right. Peace.
Bye-bye.